Hi guys, I hope you're all okay. I thought I would do a video today on foundations, which will make a change from the skincare videos that I've been doing. I would like to do videos on both skincare and makeup because I do love both, and if I had to choose the best one, it would definitely be makeup. And if you could see the drawers that are surrounding me at the moment, you would see that I definitely have a thing for makeup. So today I thought I would do foundations, the first of hopefully many videos on makeup, but today we're talking foundations. Now, foundations are so hit and miss, it can take you ages, years, whatever to find your most favourite foundation. I was lucky enough to find two within the space of a couple of months, but that's only because I pushed my budget up a bit higher. Doesn't mean to say that you have to buy high end, you can buy low end as well, but I just happen to have two favourites that are high end. So to start off with, let's start with some tips. Tips that I've picked up over the years because I've made mistakes like everybody does. I've bought the wrong colour, I've had my neck looking a different colour to my face, I have not applied makeup properly, I have done a lot, if not all, of the mistakes that you can make. So first of all, testing foundation. I have been in Boots and seen so many people testing foundation out on the back of their hand or on their wrist, and it's just not a colour match. You go out in the sun, whether you are sunbathing purposefully or not, you go out in the sun so your body gets tanned, and your arms and your wrists and your hands are not necessarily the same colour as your face. So why would you test a product on the back of your hand and colour match it to your hand when the product is actually going on your face? I'm not criticising anybody, I'm just saying it is the wrong way to go about it. You should test foundation on your jawline. So here where you've got your jawbone, where your face meets your neck, at the back here, not too far at the front, but at the back here, this is where you should test foundation, and this is where you should colour match. So the colour that pretty much disappears into your skin, if not completely disappears, that is the colour that you should go for. That is the colour match. Another tip, I've seen, again, people do it differently. Everybody's different, each to their own. It's not really a right or a wrong, but applying concealer. I have applied concealer both underneath foundation and over the top of foundation, and I'm perfectly happy that the best way to do it is on top of your foundation, because if you apply concealer first to whatever areas you want, when you then put foundation over the top, you're just wiping it off. Whether you are using fingers or using brushes or a sponge, the concealer that you've carefully positioned over your face is just getting wiped off with the tool or fingers or whatever it is you're using to put foundation on. So concealer really should go over the top of foundation, and I would leave a few minutes after applying your foundation before applying concealer, just so your foundation has had time to settle and rest onto your skin, and your skin has had time to start absorbing it properly and it's dried down a bit. Then you can go in and apply your concealer. Primer is a word that some people don't like. It's a word that some people love. I used to use primers. I don't really use primers so much anymore because my moisturiser and my SPF that I apply daily act as primers. You need to form a good base before you put foundation on. If you put foundation straight onto bare skin, it isn't going to stick very well, it isn't going to settle very well, and you might find that it goes a bit streaky, a bit dirty looking. So apply your moisturiser or your SPF, because you should wear SPF every day. So apply your product. I apologise for this noise, my cat is about to pull over my washing basket. I do apologise. So you should apply your product, we'll say SPF, because that's the last thing that I apply before makeup. So apply your SPF all over. Again, give it a few minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, for it to dry down and sink into your skin, and that should give you a really good base for you to apply foundation on top of. By doing it that way, your skin has you will have a sort of, I don't want to say film because film's the wrong word, that doesn't sound like a very nice word, but it gives something for your foundation to stick to. Your SPF or your moisturiser acts as a kind of adhesive, so it gives something for your foundation to hold on to, because if nothing's there, if it's just bare skin, then there's a good chance that it's just going to slip off because there's nothing to hold on to. So always leave 5 or 10 minutes. If you were to apply it straight after, you will find that it will just bobble and it will pill and it won't look very nice at all. Next tip is one personally that I have found out the hard way. I always used to apply foundation by putting it on my finger, dotting it all over my face, and then getting my brush and just doing it all in. It doesn't work very well like that. One main reason being because you will apply too much product. You've got all this product all over your face, and as you start to work it in, you sort of realise that you've got too much and where is it all going to go? So you don't really have a lot of choice, so you just make it go in. You just find somewhere for it to go, and by doing that you will just have a very heavy face of makeup that could look a bit caked. I find that putting it on the back of my hand, or you can get little palettes, either one of those, putting your foundation on the back of there, I use my hand, and then dipping my brush just a bit at a time into it and doing a bit at a time. Dip again, do another little bit. That way you are taking the time to work it in, you're taking the time to spread it out, shear it out, make it look even. And if you've got product left at the end, then that's product that you don't need. But it's product that you've not had to find somewhere to blend into your face. It's product that you can then get rid of. Try and maybe do just one pump to start off with. Obviously it's easier to add more than to take it away. So just try with one pump to start off with, or one smear, or however your foundation comes. And as I say, just do a bit at a time, and that way you're giving an even application. You are making it sheer out, you're making sure that it looks nice. There's no bit, you know, cheeks got loads on, this cheek's got hardly any on. It's just done step by step. There's no huge rush. You know, you can take your time and you can make sure that it all goes on nice and sheerly. And as well, doing it that way will make your any pimples or spots look and cover a bit better, as opposed to just shoving it all on and sweeping it around. If you take your time and you shear it out, it will make things look a hell of a lot better. And as I've said, it'll make sure that you don't apply too much product. Be careful around your eye area. I absolutely believe that you should put foundation around your eyes. I know that some people don't, but then you've got a colour match issue. I always put foundation around my eyes, but my eyes is one of the last places that I do because the skin there is really thin, and already with product concealer, it cakes under my eyes, it sits in the fine lines, and I have a real struggle with it. If I was to then specifically put a blob of foundation in that area, it would be even worse, and I wouldn't be able to work with it. So what I do is I leave my eyes until last, and then I wait until whatever is left on the beauty blender or on the brush, and I put that around my eyes. That then gives a thin application, but an actual application, so that it all colour matches into your face. And by doing that, you've only done a thin layer, but you've still made sure that it all looks neat, it all looks uniform, and that, you know, you haven't put too much on and it's not going to go cakey, and, you know, you're going to get a crease in your eyelid. And, you know, if you do it that way, I've personally found if I do it that way, I get a good coverage, I get a good colour match because it all looks the same, but I am still putting product, and then that gives me almost a little bit more of a base to put my concealer on top of. I've already said about testing on your neck, and I briefly mentioned at the start about colour matching. Your face should look the same colour as your neck, and your neck should look the same colour as your face. When you buy foundation, you don't buy it to be a different colour. If you want to look tanned, then use Fake Tan. You don't buy a darker foundation colour to make you look darker, to give you a tan, because that just doesn't look right. That's what bronzer is for. That's what tanning products are for. Your foundation should be the colour, as I've said, where you colour match your foundation should all be uniform and it should sink in and it should look like your skin. So your neck should be the same colour as your face. And there is no reason that you should have to put foundation all the way down your neck. I've seen makeup artists, which I'm not by the way, but I've seen makeup artists on YouTube who will put their foundation on and then they'll take their brush all the way down their neck to make it all blend in, because the colour that they've chosen for their face doesn't colour match. So therefore they have no choice but to put foundation on their neck, because now they've put their foundation on their face doesn't match, isn't the same colour as their neck. So they've got no choice but to colour match it and bring it all down. Well, that is just unnecessary product. It gets on your clothes. If you colour match properly, then there is absolutely no reason. You will not see a line because the foundation will be the colour of your skin. There is absolutely no reason why you should have to do that. Your makeup should be the same colour as your neck and as your face. Okay, so that's a small amount of the tips that I've got, but obviously I don't want to spend my whole video giving you tips. The next thing, tools. I use two different tools. I used to use my fingers, but the problem with fingers is that if you rub too hard or if you rub too fast, it can act as an exfoliant. So what then happens is that you are turning your foundation into an exfoliant, which can be bad for your skin. It can increase wrinkles, fine lines, because you're pushing your skin everywhere when you're rubbing it in. That is not a good look. I don't use fingers anymore, but if I do it very gently and I use gentle motions. I don't do any of this or any of this. I just use gentle motions, sweeping over my face, very, very gentle, and just do it that way. But as I said, I don't use fingers very much anymore. I either use brushes, and these are my three favourite brushes for applying foundation. So the Real Techniques sculpting brush. I know it's not a foundation brush, but it goes nice. It works nice for foundation. And I've also got Real Techniques BB-CC cream brush, which as you can see has got a bit of a slant on it. And then this one, if I don't want to put a whole face foundation on, I just want it on key areas. This one's a little bit smaller. It's got a little bit of a round head on it, and as I say, it's smaller than these two are, as you can see. And this is by Zoeva, and it is a face shape brush. They're the three brushes that I really like to use to apply makeup, to apply my foundation. But more often than not, I will use my Beauty Blender. And this looks quite big because I've just washed it, and it's obviously gone very fat. You can also get little beauty blenders, which this is a Real Techniques one. This is a actual beauty blender. The little ones are really good because they can get right under your eyes. This one's got a bit of a ridge on it, so you can get into corners. And I think beauty blenders just give the most beautiful sheared out effect that you can get. Quite often, if I don't fancy using a beauty blender for the whole procedure, I will apply my foundation with a brush and then I will go over it with a beauty blender, because as well the beauty blender will make sure that you've not got any lines from the brushes. There's, make sure that everything's been blended out evenly, make sure that everything's uniform. I just think that beauty blenders are an amazing invention. I've tried other sponges that aren't beauty blenders and I always come back to the genuine beauty blender. They are just absolutely beautiful. I can't recommend them enough. They just give you a sheer airbrushed effect on your face. Whatever you put on, whether it's a tinted moisturiser or a full face foundation, you just get such a beautiful effect with them. They are expensive, they're about £17, but I really highly recommend them. So from tools to types of foundation. Now you can get different types. You can get liquid, which is what the majority of foundations are liquid, perfectly honest. You can also get stick foundations, which I don't have any of because I don't use them, but it's almost like a solid, it's almost like a stick of concealer, but it is actually foundation and it just, twists up in a stick. You can also get mousse. I do have a mousse, which is by Number 7. I saw it used by one of the Pixie Woo girls and it just looks really beautiful. I haven't actually tried it yet though. I've tried it a little bit, but I haven't had the opportunity to do a full face with it. I just went down the centre of my face and I just did a little bit because I didn't want to put a full face of foundation on. You can also get powder. I don't really get on with powder. This is the Bare Minerals one. I apologise for the noise, but my cats have decided to wake up. This is the Bare Minerals one. This is powder. Didn't really get on with it. You apply it with a brush, but I found that as soon as you put it into contact with your skin, it's like that's where all the product sits. So I seemed to have blobs. It looked like I was dirty. But different types of foundation have different uses. So in particular, dry skinned people will benefit more from liquid and stick foundations, whereas oily combo people like myself will benefit more from powder foundations. Although I have to say, in my case, that's the other way around. I much prefer liquid concealers. Don't really use foundations, I mean not concealers. Don't really use stick foundations. Pretty much every one of my foundations is liquid, apart from my new number 7 one, which is mousse. So, as I said, there are variants that you can try. Try whatever you like. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. You use what suits you. But I do recommend going into a store and trying the colours. I, rightly or wrongly, colour match on the internet. That is a risk that I take, because if it doesn't match, then I've used it. I can't really send it back. So I really shouldn't do it like that. But if you get the opportunity, go into a store, Debenhams, Selfridges, somewhere like that, go to a beauty counter, and they will give you testers as well. If you take a little pot with you, they will give you a little bit of a tester so you can go away, because there's nothing worse than the lights in places like Debenhams, is there? They're just orange. How you can test a foundation out in those lights, I do not know. You need natural daylight. So ask for a tester. 9 times out of 10, they're more than willing to give you one. They'll just give you a little pot. I would take a little pot with you though, because they don't always have them. So get yourself a tester, go away with it, take it home, put a little bit on your jawline, like I've said, where to test, and see how you get on with it. If it disappears, it's the right match. If you can quite obviously see it, it's the wrong colour. You can get different types of foundations as well in terms of coverage. So you can get light foundations, you can get BB creams and CC creams. They are much, much lighter than sort of standard foundations. They are just to give you a bit of colour, a little bit of an evening out. They don't really do much in terms of covering spots, acne, anything like that, circles under your eyes. They are just literally to just give you a little bit of colour. You can then get medium coverage foundations, which are between a light and a heavy. They give you a bit more coverage, they give you a bit more evening out. A lot of the products that I use, even though they might say they're foundation in full terms, I shear them out. I use minimal products and I shear it out, and I make it a medium coverage, or I make it a light coverage. You can do that with most products. If you find a full coverage foundation that you really like, you can turn it into a sheared out one and make it light or medium. You can blend foundation however you want. You don't have to have the full Instagram look of a full face of foundation. Colour-wise, when it comes to choosing your colour, in terms of you can get warm, cool or neutral, the best thing to do is to look at your veins. Excuse my tattoo. Look at your veins. If you have blue or purple coloured veins, then you are cool toned, so you need to go with pink-based colours, pink-based foundations. If you have blue-green coloured veins, then you are neutral, so you need to go more towards the yellow-based concealers. And if you have olive-coloured veins, then you are warm-toned and you need to go more towards the yellow-peachy shades. As you can see, my veins are bluey-purple, so I am cool-toned. In terms of application, I always start on the centre of my face and blend outwards. The centre of my face is usually where I need most coverage, because I have my dark circles, I have redness around my nose and on my chin. So I start in the middle and I work out. I don't usually put foundation on the outsides of my face as in an actual application of it. Anything that goes there is what gets sheared out. And as I've said, you can apply it with a brush if you like brushes, and just shear it out with a beauty blender just to make sure that you've got no lines or anything like that. You can get different products for different types of skin. Just a handful of ones that I use. the It Cosmetics CC cream. This is actually a good one for mature skins. Obviously I don't have mature skin, but this is one that I have, and it is actually recommended for mature skins. You can also get ones for oily skin, which is what I have. My recommendation would be the L'Oreal Infallible Matte. This is really nice. It does keep you mattified for quite a long time. I wouldn't really say that it was 24 hours worth of mattifying, but it does go quite a long way. Dry skin, highly recommended the Charlotte Tilbury Magic. This is a good one for dry skin, or if you wanted the lower end of the scale, the Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum Foundation. All of those ones I really like, but in terms of my two favourites, without a doubt, the Armani Luminous Silk is just absolutely beautiful. There are no other words for it. And the Burberry Bright Glow Foundation. This is a recent discovery. Yes, it is expensive. It was a treat to myself, but again, absolutely beautiful. So there you go, guys. That is my roundup of foundations. Obviously, there is a hell of a lot more that you can say, but I'm already at 21 minutes of my video, and I don't think that you can sit there for any longer. So that is it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget, most importantly, to subscribe and get sharing, guys. I would like to get subscribers. I would like to get viewers. Please share my video, subscribe to it, tell your friends about it. And I've also got an Instagram channel as well, which is named the same as this one, Katie Beauty Reviews UK. Lovely to see you again, guys. See you soon.